Yo, what is going on, FB Army? It's your boy Fiago and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's the day I'm gonna finally reveal my Premier League predictions 2020-2021. Now, I already know what you'll be asking yourselves now. Why is this idiot doing his predictions weeks after everyone else? Well, quite simply, because I didn't want to predict before the end of the transfer window. When most people made their predictions, which was when the season started, we still had 3 weeks of transfers left. And I believe that, especially in the Premier League, where clubs are spending massive money, signing countless players, 3 weeks of transfers can have a much bigger impact on the course of a season than those 3 games we've had so far. The Premier League has been nothing short of crazy so far, with many upsets, and I don't believe that those game weeks represent the course of the season. So I'm not going to base my predictions a lot on the results of the last weeks. That would be simply reactionary. Instead, I did some rational analysis and finally completed my predicted table with the 20 teams. Let's dive into it. Well, obviously we're going to start from worst to best, and the worst team this season in the Premier League is simply going to be West Brom. I'm sorry, but they're quite similar to Norwich last season, didn't spend a lot. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to fail, but I don't see enough quality to stay up in this Premier League, because the only players possibly capable of leading the team to stay up might be Mateus Pereira, Livermore, Kieran Gibbs, I'm not sure. This team just doesn't have enough quality and they will go down, I'm sorry. Next up, we got Fulham. Quite interesting here, because in 2018, when they got promoted, they spent massively and failed massively. This season they spent way less, but I don't think it's good either. Their record transfer was Anthony Knockaert from Brighton, who I think is bang average. Their defense looks shambolic. They made a few decent loan signings, Mario Lemina, Ademola Lookman from Leipzig, Anderson from Lyon, but still I don't think they have the power to stay up in this Premier League. They are going down, I'm sorry. Okay, now it's getting really interesting, because this might be an unpopular pick, but I'm going for a second season syndrome, Sheffield United. The Blades, who surprised us all with great fighting football, with a great spirit last season. They probably still have that spirit under manager Chris Wilder. I respect him a lot, but they lost their best player in Dean Henderson to United, which was inevitable, and they replaced him with Aaron Ramsdale, who I don't think can fully replace Henderson. Furthermore, they signed Ryan Brewster for 26 million euros from Liverpool. I mean, I think Liverpool scammed them. They made a few decent signings, but all in all, they played above their limits last season, and I don't think they'll be able to replicate this season. On paper, we just have to admit they're not good enough for the Premier League. On 17th, barely avoiding relegation, I've got Burnley, another team who exceeded their expectations last season, finishing 10th, and they more or less kept the squad together, except for Jeff Hendrick, who joined Newcastle on free, but they didn't really make significant signings. They are, similarly to Sheffield United, a team which lives off hard work and spirit, and unlike the Blades, I think they will stay up, but it's going to be really close. One place further up, we have Brighton. Very interesting team with a few gifted players. They lost Aaron Moy as their key player, signed Joel Feldman and Adam Lallana as 2 proven players. Other than that, the signings are pretty unproven. I think it's going to be another tough season, just like last year, but it will be enough to stay up. On 15th, I have the first London side, Crystal Palace. Well, finished 14th last season. I think their strength lays in their offense, with Wilfried Zaha as their leader, Michy Batshuayi, who they signed from Chelsea on another loan deal. They have Christian Benteke, they have Jordan Ayew. I think this attack is really what will help them stay up and not having too many troubles with relegation. They will be in the battle, but after all, they have too much quality to go down, I think. Next up, the second London team, West Ham United. Well, a lot of chaos going on at the club right now with their controversial owners, and I think with West Ham it's always the case that if things around the club are going well and going silent, basically, they are a very solid Premier League team, especially since they didn't lose Declan Rice. This is a major upside for them. They signed Thomas Souček from Prague on a permanent deal now. Sebastian Haller, who hasn't proven his worth in the Premier League yet, but can still perform. In the back, Issa Diop. They have decent quality in the squad, and I think these individual qualities will help them, after all, to have a slightly better season than last year. Now in 13, I have Southampton. You know, I really like what Ralph Hasenhüttl is doing with them. He basically took them from the mud. Everyone thought they were going down, but they're now a solid team, and for me, Southampton is the definition of an average Premier League team. I do think they will have another average season. I don't think they are necessarily worse than last season. Their defense is very solid. They have the one and only Danny Ings up front, and Che Adams, okay, Adams, I don't know. He can really shine. The reason why I put them 2 spots below their 11th spot from last season is that the quality in this season's Premier League, especially the top 10, is much better than last year, if you ask me. So it's going to be tougher, but they don't have to worry at all. They will stay up. They won't be in the relegation battle, and it's going to be a quiet season for Southampton. Next up in the line, Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. This is probably the most exciting newly promoted side we've seen in a while, and they've already shown they can keep up with the big fish. Marcelo Bielsa, he knows what he's doing, and Leeds can bring us a lot of exciting moments this season. They made some smart reinforcements in the key areas, but what we shouldn't forget is that they haven't been in the Premier League for over 15 years, and it takes time to get used to it again. So we shouldn't expect too much from them. I don't expect top 10 unlike many others. I think they will get a 12th spot. Great for a newly promoted team actually, and we might see them finishing top 8, top 6 in the next years possibly. For now, 12th spot, and they can slowly find their way back into the Premier League. On 11th, a team that almost got relegated last season, Aston Villa. Well, the Villa did extremely well to keep their leader Jack Grealish, who is absolutely crucial to this side. They didn't hold back their spending either, signing Ollie Watkins from Brentford. They got Ross Barkley on a loan deal, Bertrand Traoré from Lyon, Emi Martinez, great keeper, Matty Cash from Nottingham. I think they made great signings and they didn't lose any important player at all. They are still on a perfect run right now, but I don't base my predictions off that. Anyway, I think Villa can be the best of the rest, the best of the bottom half basically, and it's gonna be an exciting season. They are here to stay in the Premier League long term, definitely. We are moving into the top 10 of the Premier League, and here I have a team that probably many of you would have put below Leeds and Villa, but I have Newcastle on 10. Hear me out. They did extremely well signing Ryan Fraser and Jeff Hendrick, two quality Premier League players, both on a free. Additionally, Callum Wilson came from Bournemouth too, Jamal Lewis from Norwich. Which key players did they lose? Basically no one. I think Newcastle are a lot stronger than last season. Takeover failed, but they don't have to worry. I actually think Steve Bruce is doing a great job, and I see them improving by 3 spots up to 10th place. Well, top 9, and I'm starting off with Wolves. I think a lot of you would have put them higher, but I see them worse than last season actually. They lost Diogo Jota, and they also lost Matt Doherty to Spurs, who was crucial for them as the offensive right back going forward. Instead, they signed Fabio Silva for 40 million, and I don't think this boy will make an instant impact. Nelson Semedo will be a great replacement for Doherty for sure, but all in all, I see the Wolves slightly worse than last season, and I think the quality in this top 8 is simply too good. Nevertheless, 9th is a great finish. Keep in mind they only got promoted 2 years ago, and they already play an essential role in this Premier League, so it's a great finish. Okay, now we're coming to the top 8, and it's getting really exciting. So the problem I had here is that these 8 teams that are coming now basically all have what it takes to finish top 6, but 2 have to miss out, and 4 of them have to miss out on top 4 as well. It's not a shame if your team misses out on top 4 or top 6 this season, because the overall quality of the top 6 in the Premier League is just much stronger than last season. I'm starting with Leicester. The Foxes are surely on a great run. Last season finished 5th, which was amazing, but I do think they are slightly worse than last season. And the loss of Ben Chilwell will hit them hard, I think. Well, they signed Timothy Castagna as a replacement from Atalanta, but he's rather offensive, and he's not a one-on-one replacement for Chilwell. Other than that, Cengiz Ünder came from Roma, which is a very decent option for the right wing, I think, and 19-year-old Wesley Fofana was signed from Saint-Etienne for 35 million. Similarly to Fabio Silva at Wolves, I don't think this boy will make an instant impact either, so we can leave him out for this season. All in all, I think the Foxes are still a great team, and they haven't declined or anything, but they haven't improved as much as the others in the top 7, so I do think they will go down 3 places from 5th to 8. Next up, probably a very controversial pick. On 7th, I have Everton. They've won it all so far, but again, this just shows that I'm not basing off my predictions on the recent games a lot. I am not denying that Everton under Ancelotti right now are performing incredibly well, and they had an insane summer, signing James Rodriguez on a free. They signed Alan to fix their central defensive midfielder problem that they had last season, and also Abdoulaye Doucouré from Watford, plus Ben Godfrey from Norwich for the central defense. But the issue I see here is consistency, which has always been a thing Everton lacked. Over the course of the whole season, I think the traditional top 6 teams will overtake them sooner or later, but nonetheless, it's going to be a great season for them. Last year they were on 12. Now, moving up to 7th is 5 spots better, which is, in my opinion, a huge success for them. They would play in the UEFA Conference League with their performance, but again, I do understand people putting them higher, and also for me, it was very hard choosing between them and the team that is on 6th for me, which is no less than Arsenal. From Arsenal, I expect a top 6 finish this season, since they had a decent transfer summer, signing Thomas Partey last minute for 50 million. They got Gabriel from Lille, they signed Willian on a free, and Pablo Mari for the central defense, got rid of Lucas Torreira, Guendouzi, Emi Martinez. These are decent players too, but all in all, I see them better than last season. Mikel Arteta, slowly but surely, is building something meaningful at the club. I think you should give him time. He's the right man at the wheel, and let's be honest, in the last years, Arsenal have always underperformed, considering the squad they had on paper. This season, I think Arteta can get the most out of it, and Arsenal fans, although some might expect more, but you can already be happy about a 6th place finish. Last season you were on 8, and this season on 6, and I think if you really give Arteta time, he can do wonders for you in the future. For now, 6th should be right. Top 5, boys, and here I have Manchester United, the Red Devils. Well, they had a pretty chaotic summer, but they still ended up signing Donny van de Beek, Alex Telles, Edinson Cavani, Dean Henderson came back from his loan, plus they got Amad Diallo in January. They didn't lose any starters, so on paper this squad looks way better than last season, although they didn't get Sancho. But what is really worrying me is their centre-back duo with Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. I don't think this is enough for top 4 in the Premier League. Last season it was, but this season the strength up top there, again, it's much better than last season. I don't think Man United will have a horrible season, but I think they will miss out on the Champions League simply due to 4 teams being better this season. And the first one is is Jose Mourinho's Tottenham. I really doubt most of you will have Spurs in the top 4, but I do because I think Jose's impact is already showing. Last season he took them from the mud to a very respectable 6th place, and now they arguably had the smartest transfer window out of all teams. Signing Sergio Reguilón from Real Madrid and bringing Gareth Bale back is crucial for the team. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton is a great underrated midfield pivot, and Carlos Vinicius from Benfica is also a goal-getter. Add that to the fact that Harry Kane has become prime Ronaldinho and Heung-min Son is back in top form, plus they finally replaced Serge Aurier with a proper right back Matt Doherty. This team can go very far this season. Mourinho has succeeded everywhere he went, and I would be very surprised if he didn't manage to get Champions League football for Spurs back. Okay guys, we're in the top 3, and on 3rd I've got quite obviously Chelsea. What an insane window for them this season. Roman Abramovich let Frank Lampard splash the cash. They signed Kai Havertz, they signed Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell, Hakim Ziyech, Mondi, Thiago Silva, overall spending almost 250 million euros. They are one of the most improved teams in the Premier League, but their new signings still have to prove their worth and they have to find some chemistry. I think this might take a few game weeks, but after some time I think everyone will find their role, and Chelsea are a serious force this season in the Premier League. Top 4 is almost certain for them. Anything else would be a disappointment, and I am expecting a 3rd place finish, 1 spot better than last season. Next up, probably the easiest choice for me, Manchester City on 2nd. Well, what has changed since last season? They signed Ruben Dias, Nathan Ake, Ferran Torres and so on, spending over 160 million euros. But what they haven't signed is a proper replacement for Fernandinho. Unless they sign that, I don't think they will win any big titles in the future. I'm sorry guys, but their overall quality, individual quality is still insane, and that is why they have to be the 2nd best team in the Premier League. That is obvious. I think they will perform similarly to last season, not winning too much, maybe League Cup, FA Cup, but I don't think they will win the Premier League unless they have a proper Fernandinho replacement. So the team that's gonna win the Premier League in 2020-2021 is going to be no less than Liverpool Football Club. After winning their first ever Premier League title earlier this year, I think Klopp's boys will be able to replicate that. They got rid of some deadwood in the squad to raise funds for very smart transfers such as Fiago for 22 million, a bargain, who will heavily increase their midfield options, and also Diogo Jota from Wolves, an on-point signing for their offensive depth. Greek left back Tsimikas to put pressure on Robertson, and I don't think Liverpool are any worse than last season. If anything, they are better. They might have some struggles right now, but that's completely normal. And after all, I don't think any of the 19 Premier League teams improved in a way that they can challenge Liverpool seriously for the title this season. Klopp will win his 2nd league title with Liverpool in 2021. Okay guys, so this was my Premier League prediction 2020-2021. I hope this can be better than last season's prediction. And yeah, there's a lot to discuss. Obviously my choices are not ultimate. It's just my personal opinion and you are entitled to your own. If you want, let me know your predictions down in the comments so we can discuss. And you also shouldn't forget to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much, and I'm seeing you guys in the next YouTube video or on Instagram. You know where to find me. Fiago is out. Peace.